Hey guys, welcome back to here today with a new video, another Marvel Rivals guide. Today going over Groot. Now Groot is one of the best tanks in Marvel Rivals right now, and he's extremely strong, sporting the most health of any character in the game when you are teamed up with Rocket. So he's very good, and he's definitely a good pick for any team comp right now. Today we're going to be going over all of his abilities, his synergies, and the best ways you can play him to success. Now, starting off with Groot's synergies, Groot has a team-up abilities synergy with Rocket Raccoon. It gives him the passive 200 extra HP, which is a massive amount. He already has a lot of health, and an extra 200 on top definitely doesn't hurt. It also allows Rocket Raccoon to ride on Groot's shoulders. If you're playing as Rocket, you can hit C and you'll dash up onto Groot's shoulder and take a damage reduction that way. Having Rocket on your shoulder, riding around with you as well, means that he can heal you a lot easier. Anytime he's shooting out his healing orb, it's going to heal the Groot right under him too. So it's pretty cool to have a Rocket there. Also gives you even more of a range ability because he can shoot off of your shoulder, and just makes you this like sort of extra intimidating unit of Groot and Rocket together. That's the synergy anyways, and now we'll move on to Groot's abilities. Starting off simple with his left click is Vine Strike, which will launch a vine to attack enemies, and it has quite a long range. So Groot isn't really like a melee character, he plays more like a ranged shooting character. You just don't have complete range, but it is pretty far away that you can hit other enemies. It's slow firing and you do still have to reload, but you can chunk down someone pretty quickly with these hits from your left click. And on your right click you have Spore Bomb, which is an explosive spore bomb that sort of splits into multiple ones on impact, and it'll do a decent amount of AoE damage. Your right click and your left click together is sort of your bread and butter as Groot. Anytime your right click is up, you're going to want to throw that, especially if there's like a group of smaller characters like healers and like DPS characters on the enemy team in a little bit of a group together. You can hit all of them with that right click. Or if you're taking someone low health with your left click and they go to run away, since you're pretty slow as Groot, you can tag them with the right click on the way and you'll probably get a secured kill that way. Just using your right click anytime it's up, you're going to see a lot of good damage output. And on top of that, Groot has two more abilities that both involve making walls. One is the Thorn Slash wall on left shift, and you get two of these. They're sort of a smaller wall, and you can place them at like a different angle. You can make a ramp if you want to by hitting left shift again when you go to place it. Will make it into a ramp. You can make a flat platform on the side of a wall using it. There's a lot of different things you can do with these walls, but most of the time you're going to be using your left shift Thorn Lash wall to put like behind an enemy as they're trying to get away from you, to block them in, and that way they're going to be, easier to take out. And then on your E you have Ironwood Wall, a much larger wall. I think it's like 3 times as long, that will cover a larger area but has a longer cooldown, and you only have one of those. This is the Ironwood Wall that you can put that as well to either, if you're pushing the payload, block off incoming fire from enemies, or if someone dives and they're trying to get away now, put it behind them and block them in with your team, so now they're cut off from their healers and they can get an easy pick that way. So you could either use them defensively to like lock someone in like that, or offensively to push a payload by blocking incoming damage from other players. There's a lot of maneuverability with these walls and different ways you can use them. And they both have an awakened ability, which we're going to talk about, that works with Groot's passive. So his passive is the Flora Colossus that makes wooden walls near him awaken. So if you're close enough to your walls when you make them, they gain an extra ability. I'm going to put like a video up so you can see what I'm talking about, but the Thorn Lash wall, this is the 2 smaller ones on left shift. When you're close enough to them, so if you put a wall behind someone and then you push up to take them out, like dive into that character that you have trapped now, whenever you attack them, the wall is also going to attack nearby enemies. So this boosts Groot's DPS by using the left shift wall, the Thorn Lash wall, because it will lash out at enemies that you're attacking near that wall as well, giving you extra DPS. Now on the flip side, the Ironwood Wall will actually grant bonus health in the form of like armor and overheal to Groot when he's damaging enemies near that wall. So if you put the E up and you're doing damage to other characters right by that wall with you, you're going to be gaining health as well. So if you're kind of like face up fighting someone, but you're near your Ironwood Wall, you're going to be gaining health every time you're damaging them, and it's going to lead to an easier battle for you. Plus you can mix these walls in together like both beside each other, or like you trap someone in with a bunch of walls, or you know, close a site off with a bunch of walls, and you're going to be getting extra damage and healing on top of that by attacking near those walls. Finally, on Q, you have Strangling Prison, Groot's ultimate that fires a large vine cluster that will pull nearby enemies into its center and imprison them, so they're sort of rooted in place. They can't move, they can't even use like movement abilities to get out of this. Like Wanda can't use her shift to phase out of this, you know, Magic can't E-dash out of it. They all get pulled in, they're rooted there, and they're kind of silenced as well. The only thing is that this ability isn't that good. As far as the ultimates go, this is one of the weakest in the game in my opinion. It doesn't really do any damage. Like, it does a little bit, but compared to all the other ultimates that like are instant one hits, this one pretty much needs to be comboed with a different ultimate, or with like your entire team focusing that group that gets tangled in your Strangling Prison. The real problem being that any healers can just heal that group that you now sucked in and pretty much counter your entire ult. Especially like if you use it on a Loki or something and he just hits his shift, everyone in there is now gonna live completely immortal. And that's just his shift compared to your ultimate. So it is an extremely weak ult. But if you catch like a bunch of smaller characters, or maybe a couple of their healers by themselves or something like that, you can yank them all together, and if you're with other teammates, quickly get a pick that way. But in general, you're not going to be relying on this for kills, and more for just like displacing the enemy team, or if they're trying to run away, grabbing them with this so that your team can rinse them. But you need to have team support to use that ultimate. And that is pretty much it for Groot. They have him as a 1-star difficulty, but I think the real skills comes from learning when and how to use the walls, because you can go from like just basic like block damage with the walls into, you know, diving, putting a wall behind someone, separating them from their team, getting a pick that way, using the awakened abilities on the walls. There's a lot to really finesse with Groot. He seems super like boring and simple, but once you get right in the front of the pack, leading the charge on your team every single time, because you have so much health, you have a good healer behind you, you can really swing the outcome of a game using Groot with his huge health pool, his good damage output, and his disruption with the walls. That is pretty much it for this guide on how you want to be playing Groot in Marvel Rivals. Anything that changes with Groot between now and launch is going to be in a pinned comment. So if you're looking at this video and you know some of the abilities are different, or they've been nerfed or buffed, check the pinned comment and you'll see what has been changed. That is about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Subscribe if you'd like to see more Marvel Rivals and other gaming content. I upload at least every other day. Lately it's been like every day. And if you're interested in Marvel Rivals, this is definitely a great place to be. I'm going to have a guide up for every character. Check out the playlist on the channel. Thank you guys so much.